Content marketing versus info marketing. Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. Let's talk about content marketing, shall we? Content marketing, as it's kind of being referred to today. Once again, this is one of those phrases that is explaining something that's always been in existence, but today has kind of a new turn on things. So when people talk about content marketing today, what they tend to discuss is the regular marketing that you are putting out there. Specifically tends to be on the internet. People tend to refer to content marketing when it comes to your internet marketing, and it tends to be this stuff that has substance to it. It has content, it has value unto itself that you're putting out there, but it also has a marketing message within it. So one way or the other, that's kind of how I would go about defining content marketing just off the top of my head. Now, info marketing is something a little bit different. Once again, something that's always existed, has gone by different terms by different people, but was really, I've heard it most often called info marketing or information marketing by a lot of the direct response marketers that came from kind of the Dan Kennedy school of, and that I believe that terminology was really, I know it was at least heavily promoted and has been used through the years from people coming from that way of thinking when it comes to marketing. So what is information marketing? Information marketing basically is using any type of information to market. So you have information that within itself is marketing and can be either given away or purchased. So there's a little bit of crossover with content marketing versus info marketing. I would say that content marketing tends to be most of the free stuff that's out there. In fact, it'd probably be easier to call it content advertising. It's just people aren't talking about content advertising, they're talking about content marketing. But really, it's more on the advertising side of things. It is your YouTube page like this one, or a podcast that you put out. A lot of that stuff is all considered content marketing. And then when you start having larger items of pieces of information, seminars and courses and things of that sort, they tend to start blending into the info marketing end. So things that have so much perceived value that they can be sold separately. Now, it doesn't matter whether your info marketing is made up of content marketing. So I have a book that is sold separately, and it's all built out of content marketing. So I had 9 separate videos. You could go way back in the archives and find them. 9 separate videos all about Amazon proofing your business. I then took the transcripts from those videos, switched them around. I actually changed the order around on some of them and made them a little bit more clear, added a little bit more content, added an introduction and all the rest, and I got a book, right? Off of my content marketing came an info marketing book, the whole concept of repurposing, which is a huge deal. If you don't understand that, then you're really missing the boat. And if you don't understand the power of content marketing, let alone where it can take you to info marketing, then I don't care if you're selling tires. I don't care if you're selling haircuts. It doesn't matter what it is that you're trying to get people to buy. Having an element of content marketing and then eventually adding in an element of info marketing can be huge. And everyone's going to have different definitions of these. So I don't need a debate or anything. I mean, I'd love to hear what you think. You can leave a comment down below wherever you're watching or listening to this. And if you don't have a place to comment, go to brianjpombo.com, find the video, and comment there. But I'd love to hear what you think. But in general, these are vague terms. These are things that everyone's got a slightly different definition for. There is no Webster's, Hoyle's definition for this type of thing. It is what it is. But we use it as kind of a shorthand to start a conversation, and then from there take you step after step after step. So I work with business owners and executives and eventually with their staff, if we move forward, on how to develop long-term content marketing. And then, if they're interested, showing them how to then go about developing info marketing off of those content marketing resources that they've created, assets in a sense, especially if it's ongoing. The whole idea is if you can create something ongoing, and if you're building things that are so valuable that they have an evergreen background to them, that they have the ability to, well, we were just discussing it today, me and my podcast producer, Sean E. Douglas, we were discussing about how some of our most powerful videos out there and most powerful pieces of content that come back out of nowhere and start getting a whole lot of attention are the evergreen things, the things that aren't just set in today's time period. Yeah, you can get a whole lot of views, you can get a whole lot of listens, you can get a whole lot of clicks on something that is timely. There's a value in that. But the evergreen stuff is something totally different that can go on and on and on and on. Not only that, you can build products that can go on and on and on and on, and continue to encourage people to go the next step in your process to becoming a lifelong customer, client, or what have you. I hope all that made sense. If it doesn't, make sure and check out my book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. And if you don't want to buy one, you can buy it wherever books are sold, Amazon, Barnes & Noble. But you could also go to AmazonProofBook.com. AmazonProofBook.com. Get a free copy. Just go sign up over there. I'm going to be back here tomorrow night. We do this on a nightly, daily basis. So come on back then. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.